I've talked about the fact that your conversations are going to change over time, but you also need to be worried about or cognizant of the fact that are you having conversations that's elevating your game? At some particular point in your life, personally and professionally, you are going to become a master in a certain set of skills. You're going to be proficient in a certain set of skills. You're going to be in a different arrangement. You're going to be viewing things very differently. That's what it's supposed to be. When you're in your 20s and your 30s, how you move in your 40s and 50s is very different. The reason why is because you've now attained a certain level of skill. You've now attained a certain measure of background. You've now gotten to a particular point where you're not moving in 20-year-old spaces in terms of moves at a lower level. You have proven yourself. You have demonstrated on more than one occasion all of the things that you're capable of. And so now what happens is that when you're moving in these spaces, you have next level things that you need to be thinking about. You need to be moving in the greater management circles. You need to be moving in greater political arenas. You need to be moving internationally as opposed to locally or globally, or nationally. The reason why it's important that you're having those conversations is because you can only think about so many things. There's only so many conversations that you can have. And so many times when you're talking, just kind of talking to regular people that who you work with, your conversations may be fairly limited. But guess what? If you're talking to people in your personal orbit who, even if it's a casual conversation of, hey, I was just talking to my buddies the other day and they were talking about, the possibility of, leveraging their ownership of a home that their parents left for them as an opportunity for financial investment for an Airbnb. Wow, and then all of a sudden your brain goes, oh my gosh, my great grandmother's going to leave me this old house and I'm trying to figure out what to do. I never thought about an Airbnb option. Well, guess what? Your mind has now been exposed to something that you hadn't thought about. And that's really what elevating your game comes down to, is are you talking to people who are challenging you to think about other ways to move at the level that you're at that you didn't think about? And it's not trying to say that the people that you're around you has to be brilliant or anything like that, but as I've said in various videos and I've said in various podcasts before, as you evolve and progress, the people around you should be doing the same as well. So when you're having these conversations, when you stop and you say to yourself, man, I believe I'm capable of more. There's probably more I can do. It's probably because there is more that you can do. And you realize that the reason why you want to have the conversations with these people around you is because by having those conversations, you're starting to now challenge yourself to say, I know I'm capable of more, but I don't know what more looks like. Maybe if I'm talking to somebody else who's also going through this, they can spark something. And spark could mean there's something that they were thinking about doing, but it rolls more into your wheelhouse than it does theirs. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, crap, I never thought about it. You never thought about it because you can only do so much on your own. You want to be having those active conversations with people because guess what? As they attain more access to things, as they start viewing things in a different light, as they start moving in different directions, guess what? Those conversations, even if it's a casual conversation in between talking about a football game or a track meet, and you throw in there something about, home ownership or investing in, becoming an expatriate and going over and getting a home in another continent, guess what? That is a great opportunity for you to expand how you're viewing the world and expanding, moving into different arenas that you didn't think about. Why is all this important? You got a finite amount of time in your life to do a lot of things. So you want to make sure you're around people who are not only going to help you maximize that, but they're also going to challenge you to view the world in such a way that they expose your mind to other options that can be beneficial to you in the long run that you didn't even consider.